Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's wonderful to have you along for the ride for a number of reasons. Most of them have to do with the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys Sunday at 4:25, with the Eagles as 6.5-point road favorites. So that's fun. What else is fun is hearing people talk about Cooper Rush, 5-1 as a starter. You know what's really funny about that? You know who the one is? The Eagles. More on that in a minute. And I was also perusing our friend RJ Ochoa of bloggingtheboys.com. I was perusing his Twitter feed because I'm like, I know RJ's got a ton of good stuff. And oh my goodness gracious. I just want to start things off with the show with just because you might, I don't know what mood I'm finding you in this morning. Hopefully not one that's upset at me being 36 minutes late and then having to end the show early for my Fox 29 hit. But if you're in a bad mood, and maybe something happened this week that maybe puts you in a bad mood, all right? I'm not hinting at anything, but I'm just saying, just feast on this for a second. RJ Ochoa put this out there, and oh, you can't see it, but there's almost 1,000 retweets, reposts, whatever, of this on Twitter/X. The Dallas Cowboys front office did nothing but hinder their team this season with all of their offseason antics, delays, and pot stirring. They then puffed their chests and acted like anybody who questioned them was wrong. They built this monstrosity of a season. And reading that from a Dallas Cowboys writer is just, chef's kiss. It's notes of this fine Pinot Noir. That's delicious. Delicious. That gets your Friday started off on the right note. So once again, welcome into the show. That's all good stuff. I have the Eagles winning. I have the Eagles winning comfortably. And the only thing that makes me think they might not win comfortably is coaching. But I think the talent will override. And there's some historic number surrounding the Dallas Cowboys I also got from our friend RJ Ochoa I wasn't aware of. I knew it was bad at home for the Dallas Cowboys after rattling off 15 home wins in a row, whatever it was. And now it's terrible. The Eagles haven't won there in 6 years, so they've obviously had their problems. 6-0-6 in the last 6 games. So there's been a lot of problems for the Eagles down there, and I think this is the game that they corrected. So I do have the Eagles winning. But we'll get to the history coming up in a minute. That's all good. What's bad is the Tyrese Maxey news. I don't know what the hell the Sixers do now. I know Embiid's coming back. You're going to have Embiid and Paul George. I'm happy about that. But we don't know when we're going to have Joel Embiid, how often we're going to have Joel Embiid. We don't know about Paul George. He's still ramping up his minutes. But at least 2 weeks now with a hamstring strain to Tyrese Maxey, and he's going to be shelved for 2 weeks. And I got to be honest with you. I was pissed because I feel like this guy's been trying to run himself into the ground for this organization, for this franchise, in the time that Joel Embiid is not playing. And, of course, yes, Paul George is ramping up all that stuff. Right? By the way, ramping up. I'm so done with that phrase. But anyway, getting himself back into game shape. I'll say that for Paul George. And Tyrese Maxey has gone out there and run himself into the ground to try to give this team a chance to win basketball games. And not playing in the fourth quarter, listening to Nick Nurse after the game talk about how it was precautionary to pull Tyrese Maxey out. If the game was closer, they probably would have, maybe kept him in, maybe he sticks it out. Thank God they didn't. Thank God they were cautious about the whole thing, because then we could be looking at something that just drags on for a month or the season. This isn't a good. It doesn't even matter if you're a professional athlete or not. If you've pulled a hammy at any level, oh my God, that can linger a wee bit. And now I got to worry about Tyrese Maxey, a man whose quickness and speed is what everything is based on in his game. And now we're dealing with a hamstring injury. Great. Take your time. Right after I thought of the rage within about Tyrese Maxey working his ass off while others are just like, I'm just not ready to play it. Right after that, I was quickly reminded and encouraged by the fact. And people always forget this, and I always try to remind people of this, okay? Ready? The NBA blows, all right? The NBA sucks. You have like 3 elite teams in each conference, usually, and then you have like everybody else, and it's like 500 teams. Like right now in the Eastern Conference, for instance, and I went over this yesterday, to go over it again. Right now you got 2 teams that are elite, quote unquote. The Cavs and the Celtics. Cavs still 9-0, Celtics 7-2. After that, 4-4 Pacers, 4-4 Nets, 4-5 Hawks, 3-4 New York Knicks. Like, it's not going to be hard to throw yourself into the playoff race. And I know this is just the beginning of the season. If things trend the other direction, like, do you really see the Sixers winning once every 2 weeks? I don't. With the amount of games you're going to get from Paul George, the amount of games you're going to get from Joel Embiid, and when Tyrese Maxey is 100%, and you want to talk about ramping up? Oh, I want 2 weeks. Take 4. Take 4 weeks, Tyrese Maxey, because I do see this Sixers team as being a second half of the season team, a team that will make a push and get up there to the, maybe 5th playoff seed, 4th playoff seed. I am not deterred at all by their 1-6 start. And why is that? Let me reiterate. The NBA blows. It is not something that, it is not a league where you go, well, you got to be. I mean, in every sport pretty much nowadays. I mean, even in baseball. Probably less in baseball than the others, but you could be a mediocre team. You could be a 500 team. You could be a game below 500 and still make the postseason. I mean, hell, with the play-in tournament now, it still gives you a fighter's chance, a puncher's chance of advancing in the postseason. You don't have to be great. The regular season means nothing. What did Miami Heat do 2 years ago when they went to the NBA Finals? Oh, play-in team. Finals. Interesting. Yeah, the regular season doesn't mean anything. So not only does the NBA, I'll say this, the NBA regular season blows. Everything else, it'll fall into place. So I'm still confident the Sixers are going to be a playoff team, even with this news with Tyrese Maxey. And you just got to go out there and you got to dominate after that. And I have confidence that the Sixers will do that. You can call it, it's not blind optimism. It's just knowing that the league's not that good. It's not that the Sixers are so great. It's I'm really channeling my one of my favorite comedians, Norm Macdonald, this morning, and it really does go back. I didn't even think about this, but it does go back to when he hosted Saturday Night Live, and he was just like, "They fired me because I wasn't funny." Allegedly, they fired me because I wasn't funny, but now I'm hosting, so I figured it out. I'm still not funny. The show blows. Like, that's kind of the way this is when I look at the NBA. The NBA sucks. At least the regular season doesn't really mean much. So the Sixers can go out there and they could do their thing, which is be bad for a while. And then second half players, baby. Second half of the season. And I'm not talking about post All-Star break. I'm talking about like the actual second half of the season, the next 41 games, the final 41 games. Maybe that's when you see Joel Embiid go out there. And, hopefully they can accomplish the dream that everyone has for the Philadelphia 76ers, which is winning the NBA Cup. For the people on the podcast, I just gave a fantastic, sarcastic look at the camera. There you go. Anyway, let's talk some football. Let's talk some Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this one. This is fantastic. Now, a couple of things that I'm looking at in this game. 5 specifically. And the number one thing is, and I'll jump right to it, is the Philadelphia Eagles offense eating in this game. Now, before I get into the historic numbers that are surrounding this game, I just want to look at the injury report. First, let's look at the Eagles. All right. Eagles, this was from Wednesday. A lot of limited participation on there. You see all that limited. Dallas got it down there at the bottom. Full participant. That's great to see. Devontae Smith did not practice. Nolan Smith did not practice. Ben Von Silbereth, concussion, did not practice. Now let's flip it to yesterday's practice report. Everyone jumps up there to limited participants. Fred Johnson shows up there as limited. Devontae Smith, hamstring, limited. I'm not concerned about that. Nolan Smith, groin. Ben Van Sumeren, concussion, still limited to practice. But they had full participants. Saquon Barkley all the way down to Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Mekhi Becton was a full participant. A.J. Brown, we were worried about his knee. Dallas Goedert jumps up there. Bryce Huff, I know nobody's a big Bryce Huff fan, but I'd rather have him out there to try to improve than not. And he's out there as a full participant. Jalen Hurts back from rest. Good to see that. And then let's flip it over to the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at this. This injury report. DaRon Bland. Anyone worried about Jalen Hurts snapping that turnover streak? DaRon Bland, still dealing with his foot injury, did not participate. Trayvon Diggs, limited. He's got a calf injury. Linval Joseph, oh, we hardly knew ye. He was back in practice yesterday. Eric Kendricks did not participate on Wednesday. He was limited yesterday. CeeDee Lamb still trending, looking like he's going to play with that shoulder injury. Zach Martin banged up. He didn't practice with a shoulder injury. Micah Parsons trending to play in this game and make his return. I think he does play in this game. He was limited yesterday, coming back from the ankle injury. We know about Dak Prescott. This is an Eagles win. And I'm not celebrating injuries or the Dallas Cowboys banged up. I'm celebrating that nothing has gone right for them this season. And if you've watched their games, they have not been able to find consistency at all on defense without Micah Parsons. And when you talk about this Eagles defense eating, this is the historic number that I am looking forward to for the Eagles to get to. 415. That's not a time. That's a yardage total. Credit our friend RJ Ochoa with this one again from Blog on the Boys. Eagles offense should eat in this game. And if they, in fact, eat in this game, the Cowboys are one of only 2 teams in the NFL, in NFL history, by the way, that have allowed 415 total yards in 5 straight home games. If the Eagles get to 415 yards in this game in Dallas, it'll set a new NFL record for the Cowboys, allowing 415 yards in what would be 6 straight home games. Oh, come get some. Saquon Barkley, have at it. Jalen Hurts, tee off. A.J. Brown, hey, do everything you need to do. Full participant in practice. If Devontae Smith's hamstring is anything more than what's being led on, A.J. Brown carries the workload. Dallas Goedert coming back from injury. Couldn't think of a better time for him to do that. And plus, you found a way to work in Grant Calcaterra in the meantime. You have 2 tight ends that are going to catch footballs from Jalen Hurts. 415 yards. That just sounds fantastic. Ring the dinner bell, boys. Now, you could always say, oh, you're never as good as you think you are, never as bad as you think you are. I think the Eagles got something to prove. And the Eagles also understand what's ahead of them. Now, one of the things that was concerning to some people about the Jaguars game was looking ahead. And people talk about letdown games. People talk about trap games. And I think a lot of that is nonsense. And I love the answer that Seth Joyner gave on the pregame show the other day when he was talking about how, you could think all you want going into a game like the Jaguars and be like, okay, we got Dallas next week. And then after that, on short rest, we got the Commanders. You could think about that. But once the game starts and you get hit, game on. It's like a variation of the Mike Tyson line. Everyone's got to play until they get punched in the face. Everybody can look past the game until they get punched in the face. And then they're focused on that game. Eagles pulled focus in that game. And despite their head coach's mistakes, and a horrible, still don't understand the fumble, scoop, and score, and Saquon Barkley not being down by contact. Other than that, the Eagles dominated that game. They should do the same exact thing. And I think they're out to prove something. Yeah, you got to go out there and you got to win in Dallas. Get that monkey off your back. And then on short rest, you want to make sure you can take care of business against the Commanders as well. The Eagles know the stretch that they have is not easy. Regardless of the Dallas Cowboys coming into this game, being a 3-5 team, regardless of the fact that they've allowed all those yards at home in 5 straight games after dominance in Irving, Texas, or Arlington, whatever. After all that, they know that this game could be a dogfight. So I don't see them looking past the Dallas Cowboys, but I do see them looking at their schedule and going, oh, wait, hold on. This ain't an easy run we have coming up here. Now, these are teams that I still think they should beat. The Commanders, I know, are the toast of the town, but the Commanders are not a dominant football team. They've eked out a lot of wins this year, too. Cowboys game, Commanders, Rams, Ravens. How about that game last night? Oh, my God. No, 10 touchdowns? Holy good Lord. Then they got the Panthers, Steelers, Commanders again, Cowboys, Giants. This is not the easiest stretch in the world. Yeah, the first half of the season was pretty rough, but the Eagles came up with big wins against the Packers. They came up with a gutsy win against the Saints, good defensive battle. They got the get-right game against the Browns, dominated the Giants, dominated the Bengals, more or less dominated the Jaguars for the and then hopefully they get this win against the Cowboys, and I see them doing that. But this is an opportunity to stack wins against a team that's hurt. And one of the things that I'll also talk about, aside from the offense eating as the number one thing I'm going to look at in this game, number two is obviously the defense in total. And we'll get to Jaylen Carter in a second, who was asked about whether or not his game against the Jaguars was the best game of his career, because Vic Fangio more or less alluded to that. But the Eagles' defense should continue to dominate against Cooper Rush and a banged-up CeeDee Lamb. Cowboys' offense certainly struggled, and now they're going to struggle more with Cooper Rush as their quarterback. You get to 5-1 again. People talk about being 5-1. That's great as a starter. He lost to the Eagles 2 years ago. And not only did he lose to the Eagles 2 years ago, he threw 3 interceptions. And it just so happens the guys that picked off those 3 passes are either still or have rejoined the Philadelphia Eagles. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson came up with 2 interceptions in that game. Darius Slay, who's back from a groin injury and an unfortunate lingering knee issue, also picked off Cooper Rush in that game. Eagles linebackers are playing phenomenally well now. The defensive line is really starting to get after it. And at the helm, leading that charge, is Jaylen Carter. Jaylen Carter is coming off a game, get this, where he faced more double teams and won against those double teams to get pressures more than he has at any point in his career, any game in his career. That's pretty impressive. That's a guy figuring it out. And I know Vic Fangio was trying to talk it down a little bit by saying that, oh, that's not just because they're afraid of Jaylen Carter. That's because that's just part of their scheme. Well, regardless, part of their scheme is finding Jaylen Carter and stopping Jaylen Carter. And you know what they weren't able to do? Stop Jaylen Carter. While I'm on the subject, I'll let you hear from him now. Jaylen Carter, on whether or not, well, Vic Fangio said probably his best game. Jaylen Carter asked about
I felt it was a good game for me. You know, I didn't get no sacks, and you know, I like sacks, but I feel like it was a good game for, as a D-line collectively, of pressures that we got and our rush alignments and staying 2-by-2 where we not uneven and giving the quarterback a lot of room to scramble, step up in the pocket and stuff like that.
Unimpressed. I was waiting for the garbage. I was waiting for the trash. If you remember, against the Saints, he was asked about, hey, after the game, he played great against the Saints. Hey, what about the game? How would you evaluate your performance? I was trash. You were trash? You were. Derek Carr couldn't do anything without thinking about where you were. Trash? You ate that day, big fella. Eat again. This will be another opportunity to eat. I would love to talk about this game as being the 28-3 blowout of the New York Giants, as I was alluding to yesterday. Something tells me it's not going to be quite that comfortable, but I do see the Eagles coming away with a very, well, I shouldn't say very, but a comfortable win. I don't think we're sweating out the end of this one, but I look at the Eagles defense, what they're going to be able to do, specifically looking at Cooper Rush, being able to get after him and really speed up his clock. The other thing I look at, it just to break it down even more specifically with the Eagles offense, is I think the goal of this game is to have great success with Saquon Barkley running the football early. And if he can sit out the fourth quarter again, that'll be a thing of beauty. The goal of this game should be able to rest starters. The Eagles are going to get that opportunity, I believe, in the fourth quarter for Saquon Barkley to limit some of those touches. And I was asked this yesterday. I was on Dan Silio's show, and he was asking me about the concern. And it was funny because we were just talking about that on our show in the morning. And the thing I highlighted was that I'm not concerned about it, but it's something I'm paying attention to. And it's certainly something that I respect. Being on pace for about 333, 334 carries alone, not touches, carries in a season, is nuts. So how do you limit that? I would love to see him get below 300. The better way to say that would be, I'd love to see the Eagles not have to give him the football 333, 334 times on the ground, carries. So how do you do that? Well, you got to handle your business. And that has been still a struggle for this Eagles offense. Now, I know they scored in the fourth quarter. I know they scored in the first quarter against Jacksonville Jaguars. But their opening drive didn't do much. And their only touchdown, now being specific, their only touchdown in that first quarter came off of a spectacular special teams play that gave them great field position that put them from their own 44 to the Jaguars 20. That's a nice big play right there. Forcing a fumble on a punt return, yeah, that'll flip the field for you rather well. And that's what they were able to. Hey, look, they took advantage of it. Did they score in the first quarter? Yeah. Am I nitpicking a little with it? Sure. But it's not like the offense has clicked on all cylinders in the first quarter at all this season. They got great field position they took advantage of. I'm happy about it. But let's not leave out how they got that great field position. It wasn't some amazing offensive effort, some genius game plan. It was a great special teams play that gave the offense the ball. Now, I'm not discrediting it. I'm simply trying to evaluate it based on what we have seen all season long. If this can be a first possession, opening drive touchdown for the Eagles, that'll put you on a great trajectory for the rest of this game. Control the football early, be able to control the game, obviously, early, and be able to have Saquon Barkley sitting out in that fourth quarter so that he's not getting an extra 6 or 8 touches in the game. That should be the ultimate goal. I mean, obviously win, but when you break it down more specifically, talking about Saquon Barkley limiting the touches that he's going to get in this game, earn that. Earn that. The other thing I want to see in this game is Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert did the thing that Dallas Goedert has been doing for a long time, which is he comes out and he plays phenomenally well. He had a phenomenal game against the Saints, huge play against the Saints, and really started to put his talent on display. Now, it's no surprise to me. We know what a great run blocker he is, and getting Saquon Barkley out there with Dallas Goedert blocking for him will be a great thing. Seeing Dallas Goedert being able to catch and run with the football, like, this is no surprise to me that he can do it. It just looked like he was finally able to put it all together. And then what happened? He got hurt. He says he's ready to go. Nothing's holding him back. He loves the film that he put on, or loves what he put on film before he went out with injury. Now's an opportunity for him to get right back to it. And going up against the Dallas Cowboys will be a great opportunity for him to do that, to get right back on track and act like he didn't miss a step and he's already back at 100% and all that. The one thing that I do look at for this Cowboys defense is that obviously without Micah Parsons, they've struggled. Micah Parsons hasn't played since late September. He's coming back with an injury, and he is a guy that can turn the tide of a game by making big plays. And if he is out there, and if he has waited long enough, and he feels like he is ready to go, which I'm fully expecting to see Sunday, then he's a guy that obviously can change the tide of a game. And Jalen Hurts, maybe not having to worry about DaRon Bland, is going to have to worry about what Micah Parsons is. Now, Lane Johnson has had a lot of success against him throughout his career. Eagles can keep that going. I mentioned yesterday, I'll reiterate it now, talking about the read option or the zone read, play action and all that. The Eagles have had some pretty damn good running backs. DeAndre Swift's a good running back. Miles Sanders is a good running back. Saquon Barkley is just by far that next level. One of the best in the game. One of the best, in all honesty, one of the best I've ever seen. And I know the numbers haven't really backed that up because of injuries, but man, the talent has always been there. And I mentioned yesterday about just how in awe I am the fact that he is a Philadelphia Eagle. But Micah Parsons now coming off the edge has to worry about where, or even coming through the middle at times, has to worry about that mesh point between Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. That's a tough decision to make as to who you're going to go after. Keep him guessing throughout the entire game. And I see the Eagles coming away with a comfortable win. I see the Eagles winning this game 31-17. I think there's going to be a couple of fluky plays, but all in all, I see the Eagles cover 6.5 points on the road, people. they're being favored by. 6.5 points on the road. I mean, you could do the math. I mean, 9.5 points if it was a neutral site. Good Lord. 31-17, Eagles win this game. Let's get to the chat check and see how you guys are doing on this fine. Oh, wait, first I got to tell you about the Game Time app. Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code FARZI, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Concert, comedy show, Game Time app. You can even buy tickets an hour after the event starts. So you might miss the first half of a game. You might miss the opening act, the middle of a concert or a comedy show, but you'll still see that headliner at a great discounted rate on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's phlsportsnation.com. A man called David, hello. April, good morning. April. James Alexander III, good morning, Farzi. Let's get ready for Cowboys. Saquon rushes for over 175 yards. I hope he doesn't even need it. Sean Kilrain, good morning. Wine Niners Wine, good morning, Farzi and friends. F them Cowgirls. Jason A, good morning. Jason A, hello again. Sixers are going to play and figure it out. It's obvious regular season doesn't matter. That's why you should buy tickets on the Game Time app where you can get $20 off your first purchase. Season doesn't matter. Save some money. Sean Gillespie, good morning. Only our genius head coach and injuries can stop the Eagles. Fair enough. I concur. Sean Connery, Barkley getting drugged. Oh, yeah. What? I think the NFL does that on purpose. If somebody makes a miraculous player, has a miraculous game, drug test that guy. Yeah, him getting drug tested after that is pretty funny. Sean Gillespie, Barkley took the super soldier serum. I know that because I watch Marvel. Hopefully the Eagles game is a first-round knockout instead of a 12-round split decision. Real RMP? Yeah, I would agree with you on that. JB, good morning. Great sponsor. Oh, thank you so much. High Domination LLC. Yo, morning, Farzi. Hello. Oh, Sean Kilrain, Eagles win 33-14. You and I are in the same party, pal. Boy, oh boy. I'm trying not to judge the Cowboys. Stay with me when I say this. I'm trying not to judge the Cowboys on much defensively, but 28.1 points per game is what they're allowing. They're scoring 21.4 points per game. Like, that ain't good, people. You know what I mean? Their run defense has been pretty damn good. But they haven't played Saquon Barkley. When it comes to a couple of things with this, come on, where is it? I'll get to it. Come on. Yeah. Jeez Louise, let's go. Excuse me, their run defense with Micah Parsons has been good. The run defense without Micah Parsons has been terrible. Through 8 games, they're allowing 147 yards per game. That's the third most in the NFL. That's up there with the Panthers and the Colts. That is not company you want. And if you're looking for confidence as to how the Eagles can beat the Commanders are also allowing 143 yards per game on the ground. This would be a good opportunity for Saquon to tee off. Going against one of the worst run defenses in the entire NFL, go out there and eat, please. Lacey Ford Biscuit. Great name. NFL should drug test Nick because he has crazy calls. Yeah, that's true. Sean Kilmer, pretty insane for Hurts. And remember, rent is due. Hell yeah. Why Niners? Why the Jerry Jones Cowgirls versus Jeffrey Jones Eagles? Funny. Wonder which owner will interfere more with the game, causing their team to lose. Probably Jerry. He's dug that grave. Folks, I got to get running. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Sorry for the short show. Much appreciated. I'll do this to myself. Ugh. Thanks, everyone. Yep, traffic's bonkers. Have a great weekend. Go Birds. See you tonight on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Post the Paul George show, I guess. Sixers-Lakers. See you then.